What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Yes, Manchester United 5. Yes, 5. Leeds United 1. As starts of the season go, I mean, I can barely talk. The starts of the season go, it doesn't really get much better than that, does it? And there was so much that was great about today. There was so much that was great. First of all, I tell you what was great. If you're just tuning in for the match reaction now, you missed it because KG just did one of the most crazy watch-alongs I think I've ever seen in my life. That was 90 minutes of pure entertainment, let alone forget the match. Forget the match. KG on the watch-along was a madness. So big respect to KG for the first watch-along here on United View. That was unbelievable. We are going to talk about the game. We are going to talk about Manchester United winning their opening game of the season 5-1. And, you know, I don't want to start off talking about negativity. And you can let me know what you think about today's game in the chat. Bio says it feels different. Yes, it's no KG, but we're still saying we feel different. Absolutely, I agree. Swifty says, big up Owen, big up Swifty. Be sure to smash a like on the video before we start off as well. As Flex likes to say, it's like walking into someone's house and forgetting to take off your shoes. So now you're in the United Views household. Be sure to smash a like on the video as well and subscribe as well, bottom right-hand corner. It's a small channel, but it's growing rapidly, especially with all of this enthusiasm coming out of today's opening game of the season for Manchester United. What a victory. What a victory. And we've already got the super chats flying in from Tabarez, who says, amazing match. Congrats. Only one match, though. It is only one match. That's true. It is only one match. But if you want to compare it to last season, and it's a great segue. Thanks for that, Tabarez. If you want to compare it to last season, last season, it didn't start off great. There was a bit of a hangover because of obviously the pandemic and the break and all that kind of stuff. There was a bit of a hangover, and there was concern coming in today. How fresh were we going to be? How fresh were we going to be? The preseason had been disjointed. Players weren't actually in training for a long period of time. Players were coming back at a staggered period. DJ Talks says, big up Owen. The weather report said it was raining goals at Old Trafford. I like it. I like it, DJ. I like it. You're right, actually, DJ. That's a good point. He knows the tradition. As a contributor, that we talk about the weather first, don't we? So actually, before we get into the match, I know we spoke about KG and I know we spoke about pre-season and all that, but it is good to talk about the weather. Where I am today, here in Utopia, this is just green screen. It's not actually a brick wall. I don't just spend my days hanging around outside brick walls. That'd be a bit weird, to be honest. It's actually quite nice. It's been raining for ages, like pretty much all week. But today, finally, we're getting a bit of sunshine. We're getting a bit of heat. It's great. It's lovely. The grey jumper is back. This is actually a Manchester United jumper. This is a Manchester United jumper. That's why I always wear it. A little bit of behind the scenes info there. It's a Manchester United. It's old. I mean, it's Nike, but it is a Manchester United jumper. That's why I always go with this one here on the channel. That's why. So anyway, let's get into the game. Let's not talk about jumpers because we're not here to talk about my jumper. If we were, as streams go, that would be pretty lackluster, wouldn't it? But Manchester United 5, Leeds United 1. You remember going into this game, there was all this concern, wasn't there? There was a lot of concern about, I tell you what, as games go to start the season, Leeds United at Old Trafford, a lot of energy. Can we deal with Leeds' energy? Can we deal with Leeds' press? Last season, we started off after practically no preseason against a side like Crystal Palace managed by Roy Hodgson, and they barely pressed us, and we still struggled with that, let alone a Leeds United team, and their game is just constant press, energy. And there was concern going into this game today. Will we have energy? Will we be fresh? Will we have legs? Will we last the 90? And emphatically, we answered that question. 5-1 is no joke. 5-1 is no joke. That is a significant result for Manchester United today. And the crazy thing about it, and the exciting thing I think about that, is today it wasn't anywhere near Manchester United's strongest starting 11. That's really encouraging, really encouraging. And there was the going into the game, once the team was announced, me and Flex had spoken about it on a couple of streams here on the channel. There was the worry, wasn't there, about there's going to be this reaction because we were going to have our strongest 11 available. And chances were we were going to start with McFred, chances were we were going to have Lindelof and Maguire at the back. Chances were we were going to have Dan James, and all of that. There was concern that, or certainly me and Flex had spoken about it, that there's going to be this reaction, this negative reaction on social media. Oh my goodness, what's Ollie doing? He's doing the same team he had last season. Where's Sancho? Where's Varane? It's the same thing over and over again. What's the definition of insanity? It's doing the same mistakes over and over again and expecting different results. But let's face it here, you don't win a game 5-1 and get lucky in doing it. Ollie got it right today. He got it absolutely right. And, you know, I'm on one of the videos that I did here on the channel before, someone referred to me as Ollie sexual, which I don't know what that means, by the way. I support the manager. I back the manager. But I think he got it right today. I think he absolutely got it spot on today. And again, there was a lot of outrage and a lot of anger. Oh my goodness, McFred, Lindelof, oh, what's Ollie doing? But he got it right. He absolutely got it right. Spot on. You can't ask for more than that. And a big shout out, and we will go in really granular into the detail of the big moments in the game. So don't worry about that. We're going to talk about it all. We're also going to talk about Varane as well, that announcement before kickoff. But, you know, the highlights, the broad strokes here, Paul Pogba, that performance today, that's a performance that gets you a contract, really, isn't it? And Manchester United obviously wouldn't be willing to give him a contract, but I mean in terms of what Paul Pogba's looking for. Did Paul Pogba today play like a player that's worth, I mean, the numbers, the figures are out there, aren't they? The figures are out there. They're saying, you know, 400K a week. Even that's, you know, that's the top of the wage structure right now. He'd be the most highest paid player at the club if he signed a deal for 400K. But a performance like today, Paul Pogba's influence on the game today, it backs you into a corner. It backs Manchester United into a corner, because you watch that today and you say that might be a 400K a week player. He was just that good. He was just that influential today. Really, truly was. He had as good as the game you can have without scoring a goal. I mean, 4 assists, and the passes were fantastic. He ripped Leeds apart. He absolutely ripped Leeds apart. Now, I can see in the chat, so like Swifty says here, give Pogba 320, 350. I mean, we're still talking big sums of money here, obviously. You know, we're still talking at the upper ends of the Manchester United pay scale. And I do agree that maybe we're getting a bit carried away, I suppose. That's true. Maybe we are getting a bit carried away in the sense that it is the opening game of the season. It is against Leeds. Realistically, if Paul Pogba pulled off that kind of performance against a Chelsea or against a Man City or against a Liverpool, then you're saying 400K, because he really was influential today. I mean, Leeds could not get near him. I mean, these are passes that, you know, these aren't just like flicks. These aren't just simple balls. Some of the passes he was pulling off today for those assists are world class. I mean, there's a select group of players that is capable of pulling off that kind of pass, that kind of assist. If it's Kevin De Bruyne, and I don't really like to compare to other clubs and other players, because I think that's, you know, you don't want to bring off, you know, drag that kind of stuff up. But if it's Kevin De Bruyne that does those passes today, that you're raving about it. You're saying this guy's the best player in the league. This guy's unbelievable. The thing now, as a Manchester United fan, you would be hoping for is, when it comes to Pogba, you know, getting 4 assists every single game is out of the question. That's not going to happen. But having that kind of influence on a game, that's where we're really looking at, that kind of influence on a game. And obviously, it wasn't just Paul Pogba. Let's be honest here. That's the starting point there. The attention is going to always be on Pogba, especially this season when you're talking about a contract that's expiring at the end of it. Opening game, 4 assists. That's how you go to Manchester United. You get a little bit more leverage. Maybe give me what I want, because I'm capable of getting 4 assists in a game. Bruno Fernandes, obviously, the guy's unbelievable. The guy is outrageous. I cannot wrap my head around that the pocket of people on social media, and some of them aren't Manchester United fans, of course, that aren't convinced by Bruno. You know, Bruno Fernandes, he's not that influential. He's a stat padder, all that kind of stuff. The guy scored a hat-trick today, and he's a 10. It's not a case of he's a striker. I mean, you could say he's a sort of shadow striker if you want to play it that way, and he finds himself in the final third a lot. But this is a guy that since he made his debut, I come into these kind of streams prepared, guys, okay? Since he made his debut, Bruno Fernandes, in February of 2020, there are only 2 players that have scored more goals than him, Mo Salah and Harry Kane. And in fact, I think when they said that stat, that was before he scored his other 2 goals. I think he's like level with Mo Salah since he made his Man United debut in February 2020. That's what we're talking about here. It's that kind of player. And arguably, people like Harry Kane are going to find themselves in goal-scoring opportunities far more often than Bruno Fernandes, same with Mo Salah. I know what the naysayers and critics will say to that when it comes to Bruno Fernandes. They'll say, well, he takes penalties. He takes penalties. Well, so does Harry Kane. We're going to have a go at Harry Kane. You take penalties. I don't think so. Mo Salah, do you think he takes penalties sometimes for Liverpool, right, too? So the fact of his goal scoring record and his assist record, Bruno Fernandes is a world-class player. We're talking about Paul Pogba as a world-class player. Bruno Fernandes is a world-class player. Since he came in February 2020 or January 2020, he has turned us around, completely turned us around. And there will always be naysayers, tip guys, little fact of life. There's always going to be doubters, and there's always going to be people that are going to write you off, or irrespective of your success, irrespective of what you achieve, irrespective of what you're doing on the pitch or just in everyday life, people are going to write you off. But how do you prove them wrong? Consistency, results, over and over and over and over again. And Bruno Fernandes is just that. He's consistent. Even in games last season where Bruno Fernandes would be playing and he's not playing well, he's not having the best game, and you'd be saying, Bruno Fernandes, he's not really influencing the game that much, he'd still score a goal because he's that kind of player. That's what the top class players do. Even if they can't influence the game in terms of grabbing it by the scruff of the neck, they'll get a goal. They'll get their influence on the game somehow. That's what Bruno Fernandes does. And the fact that we're talking about a 5-1 result here, and the big sort of point that I think a lot of people will be talking about was Paul Pogba 4 assists. The fact that we overlook Bruno Fernandes scoring a hat-trick on the opening game of the season, I think this shows how good he is, because we expect it. At this point, we expect that from Bruno Fernandes. So obviously, Pogba, Fernandes, very excellent today. Also want to single out Mason Greenwood. I've been saying time and time again here on the channel that Mason Greenwood, for me, this season's a massive season for him. It's very, very important. Obviously, Cavani is probably going to be leaving Manchester United at the end of the season. He extended his contract, or they used the option for the extension of the second year. He's going to be leaving. I think the main reason that he's probably staying this year is to play in the World Cup for Uruguay. But I think they managed to convince him 1 year. He'll stay till the end of the season. Then United will go after a Haaland, etc. But this is a season where Greenwood has to step up. Greenwood is going to be playing more as a central striker. For me, with Sancho coming into the club, with other options that we have on the right wing, I don't know what's going on with Ahmad. He might be going on loan. People are saying Palace, etc. But with Cavani having one more season and with having more options on the right wing, Mason Greenwood needs to be a striker now. He is a generational talent. Mason Greenwood, his numbers, put him up against any teenager throughout history. He is right up there. I don't even think we as Manchester United fans, or we as England fans, if you're from England and you're watching this, really truly realize what a player Mason Greenwood is. Today, he gets his goal. It's not an easy goal. It's a difficult angle. It's a great finish. And he's involved in other goals. It's the link-up play. It's the pass to Pogba before Pogba gives the assist. So Mason Greenwood today looked incredibly comfortable leading the line. I think Martial, of course, came on. But if you are Martial, you're looking at that going, how on earth am I getting in this team this season? Because I'm looking at Cavani coming back. Once Cavani comes back, I think Cavani will lead the line, especially in big games. But even then, Greenwood today has given Ole a choice as if to say, look, actually, when Cavani comes back, sit him on the bench. He's got to, he might have to quarantine. He's certainly got to do more training. And I was on fire today. I'm Mason Greenwood. I'm getting goals and assists and leading up his build-up play was tremendous today. Tremendous. This guy's still a teenager. He's a focal point of a team. It was absolutely tremendous. Tabra says, Leeds were extremely poor, but the management needs to use this result. It's about the belief. It's just the result we needed. Come on, guys. Glazers out. Obviously, that's very true. I think I do agree with Tabra there that I thought Leeds were really poor today. Actually, surprisingly poor. we spoke about this going into it, and we spoke about it at the beginning of the stream here, that I think there was an expectation of concern, certainly from United fans. There was an element of concern that these guys are going to press us. These guys are going to really push us hard. And they looked off it. They looked really, really off it. And it was one of my notes here in the game that I just thought Leeds were really poor today. Really, really poor. Unlike Leeds, like Leeds last season, when we smashed them at Old Trafford and we scored all those goals, at least even in that performance, it was kind of just a case of they were so just defensively naive. Really, it was just a case of, because they didn't even play back like that badly at Old Trafford last year. They were just naive. They've got one way of playing. They press you, they press you, they press you. If you beat the press, you're in. And I think Solskjaer realized that last season, realized it today, that one pass, a through ball, you're in. If it's an early through ball, that's why Pogba had so much success. That's why Lindelof got his assist, because it's just simple through ball, you're in. Because their press is so intense, so early. But if you do an early pass, you're in. And last season, he just felt that they were just defensively naive. But even today, like they were off it. They were really, really off it. If I was a Leeds fan, which I'm not, by the way, I would be very disappointed in that. Before we do get into the match, a couple of things that obviously happened prior to the match as well. Raphael Varane, of course, announced officially by Manchester United today. He's made his transfer officially signing from Real Madrid. Obviously, there's been a delay, a massive delay. And we can all talk about why it's taken so long, the frustration in that transfer taking so long. I agree. I agree. I think it's frustrating. I think ultimately we do have to be not so reactionary in that Raphael Varane was never going to play today. Even if they'd confirmed that on Thursday or Friday, yes, he could have been registered to play, but I highly, highly doubt he would have been in the squad. Maybe just to sit on the bench. But I don't even know if Ollie would have wanted that pressure of why you have Varane on the bench and you didn't play him and all that kind of stuff. I don't even think he would have wanted to get involved in that, to be honest with you. So, yes, it was frustrating. Yes, it was drawn out. But I will tell you what. We live in this day and age right now with social media where clubs, and Manchester United have been guilty of this as well. I think to Sanchez, the dreadful piano crap, that announcement, which is just bizarre. Oh, I'm going to come to Old Trafford and play a piano. Oh, it's great. Oh, great. What a way to announce yourself, by playing piano. Are you Mozart? I mean, maybe that's what they were going for, but he certainly was not Mozart of Old Trafford, because he was awful. Anyway, we live in this day and age where when you have a big signing, it's all about the social media metrics, right? It's all about the likes. It's all about the retweets. It's all about the shares and all that kind of stuff. And that's why you have these announcement videos of playing the piano on the pitch, or when Lukaku signed for Chelsea the other day, you've got all of these televisions stacked up and it's welcome home and all that kind of stuff. We live in that day and age where we have these announcement videos. I defy you to find a better announcement than the way that Raphael Varane's transfer was announced today at Old Trafford. That beats any announcement video you can even think of. Gone are those days. I don't want to see another announcement video. They're not for me. That's the way to do it. It might have been frustrating, and it might have been drawn out, and it might have been taken too long, and it might have been because of image rights. It might have been because of this. It might have been because of that. We can come up with loads of excuses. But let's face it, that Raphael Varane announcement today was incredible. It does not get any better than that. He came out on the pitch looking sharp, completely sharp in his suit. Unbelievable suit, by the way. Rate that. Came out with his Manchester United shirt. There's 78,000 fans, capacity in Old Trafford, chanting his name, chanting United, clapping him, cheering. The guy, I mean, he feels like a superstar anyway. He's a World Cup winner. He's a Champions League winner. He's a La Liga winner. He is a bona fide winner. That's why we signed him. That's why we wanted him. He's world class and he is a winner. And he felt like that coming out on the pitch. Talk about already creating an aura about yourself. You feel special. Like sometimes when you come back from school or something and you've got a good grade or whatever, you come back in, your family goes, well done. And you go, I'll tell you what, I feel a bit special today. Imagine that times 78,000 people happy to see you. Just walk out, not even play. Just walk out holding a shirt. Unbelievable. Talk about an ego boost. But he felt like a big star, and it felt like a moment. It really felt like a big moment. And when it comes to social media and social media metrics and likes and all that kind of stuff for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, Manchester United can clip that up to however length they want and put that out there, because that is better than any announcement video you will find out there. I loved the Raphael Varane announcement. What a great way to sort of welcome capacity crowds back to Old Trafford as well. Great performance, great signing. Incredible. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Obviously, I spoke about the lineup, and there was a lot of naysayers when it came to McFred starting, McTominay and Fred. And I think it does speak volumes. I know a lot of people wanted Nemanja Matic and Donny van de Beek to start today. Obviously, against Everton last weekend, Nemanja Matic was excellent. And Donny van de Beek's played a lot of games in preseason friendlies, and he's looked physically stronger. He's looked, he looks like he's got energy, looks like he's got fitness. So I think coming into today's game, there was a hope. There was an expectation that Matic and Donny both would play, or at least one of them would, Van de Beek. And Solskjaer went back to what he knew. He went back to McTominay and Fred. And I think it says a lot. I think it says a lot that even now, even after a preseason with Donny van de Beek playing well against Everton, and especially Nemanja Matic playing well against Everton, I think it says a lot that Ollie still to this day does not trust Donny van de Beek. And that's what it is. You can talk about reports, you can talk about stories, you can talk about rumors. Ultimately, the real story in all of this and the truth always lies in the manager's team selection. If the manager's not selecting Donny van de Beek after a full preseason, doesn't rate him. It's as simple as that. Absolutely simple as that. That's it. And obviously, I know a lot of fans were frustrated about that and upset that McFred started today. But now, in retrospect, he got it right. He absolutely got it right. You can't argue with that. You can't argue with the team selection when you win 5-1. I thought McTominay, Fred scored. Fred scored a goal. How unbelievable is that? I do have some thoughts on the Fred goal, though, because that was a bit, But look, McTominay played well. I thought he got into spaces. He broke up the game well. When it comes to McTominay and Fred, and I get it, there are better options out there, and that is a space we absolutely need to reinforce. But in reality, it was energy. That's what Solskjaer was looking for. He was looking for energy. He was looking for legs. And, I think he got it right. He absolutely got it right. Stephanie Jake said, KG fixed the set of his deadly perseverance. I tell you what, that watch along, I was watching it like with all of you. I was watching it live. I was watching KG. And I would recommend, if you've got some spare time, go back and watch when the first goal goes in by Bruno Fernandes. The first goal goes in and KG celebrates so loud and so over the top, he breaks the set. He pulls out his sound system. He can't hear him. It's craziness. He can't drop a ball. He can't do all right. It was hilarious. I was in like tears watching it. I was in absolute tears. I'm enjoying that Bruno's scoring. I'm laughing my ass off at KG. And afterwards, he was so downbeat. He was like, I just feel really sad about the whole thing now. It was tremendous. And then in the second half, when he was trying to fix it, Leeds scored. It was just, that's why you got to tune in for the watch long here on United View. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, click the notification bell. You'll be notified when we go live for those watch longs, because they are something else. They are absolutely something else. It was tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. So we'll get into some big points of the game, because I've been talking for like 25 minutes and I haven't even talked about granular parts of the game. That's how excited I am today. That's the energy you get after winning the opening game of the season against a big rival like Leeds 5-1. That's the kind of passion that I'm bringing today. I'm feeling it. The grey jumper's back. It's a Manchester United jumper, I know, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it today. Must be said about Pogba, actually, and this is why I'm rapidly taking notes during the game as well. I was multitasking like a madman. I'm taking notes. I'm watching KG. I'm watching the game. It was a madness. But despite Pogba's assists, and he got 4 of them, so I'm not going to go in too hard on him, he missed a sitter earlier on. Oh, he missed a sitter. An absolute sitter. It was a case of Fred and McTominay win it back, which, again, that's what they were there for. That's what Ollie likes about him. He likes energy, he likes legs, and he likes that Fred and McTominay will put a tackle in and win it back. I think he realised that against a side like Leeds, where they're going to press you, and they're going to be high energy, high press. And I mentioned earlier that they're so I guess, naive in the way that they play, that a simple through ball will do them, is that if you win that ball back in the middle, they are open. They are absolutely open. And that's what happened a couple of times today. That's where this Pogba chance came from. Win the ball back, they're open, through. So Fred McTominay win it back. Greenwood travels with the ball, passes to Pogba. He's one-on-one, and he misses the target. And I don't know if you were like me in this case, but he missed the target. And the way the camera angle was set up, I thought it was in. I'm up, I'm jumping around, nothing, nothing. And I was shocked at that one. And United started the game very, very strong. After about 15 minutes, Leeds got back into it. I was concerned at that point as well, because the infamous Manchester United 15-minute press was back. And I was like, oh, here we go. And I was concerned by that. But then about 30 minutes, Bruno Fernandes gets the first goal. He gets the opener. Goalkeeper mistake. To be honest, the Leeds goalkeeper today did, as someone that used to play in goal, I did not think the Leeds goalkeeper had a good game at all, especially with that Fred goal. We'll talk about that Fred goal, but this always frustrates me. This always so frustrates me when it comes to commentators on the game, that sometimes commentators won't go in on goalkeepers. Like that Fred goal today. Let's be honest, Fred, it's a great finish by Fred. It's in the middle of the goal. If the goalkeeper stands up, he can literally just pick it up like that. And instead, he sort of dove to the left with his foot. It was bizarre, absolute bizarre. But the first goal, a goalkeeper kicks the ball straight to Lindelof, then puts it to McTominay, who gives it to Pogba, and it's a great pass. I mean, it really is. Again, I am going to repeat myself a lot in this stream. I apologize. I really do apologize here. But Pogba's assist today, like they weren't. There's a difference between an assist where it's a simple through ball. You expect him to make the pass. These kind of passes are Pogba bending it around a defender, or Pogba proverbially, threading the eye through a needle, whatever that phrase is. I'm not very good with phrases, but it's a world-class pass. Bruno, the finish for the first one. Look, again, I know I'm going in on the Leeds goalkeeper here a little bit, but the first one, he just smashes it. There's not a lot of finesse in this finish. He just smashes it at the keeper, hits the keeper, and kind of delayed it and went in the end, obviously. But if I'm the goalkeeper, I'm disappointed, because Bruno's obviously thinking, I don't have time to really pick a spot. I'm just going to leather it and hope it goes in. If you're the goalkeeper, when someone just does that, make yourself big and you'll save it. And I think the goalkeeper would be disappointed by that. But look, Pogba pass was excellent. He was just excellent in this game. And after that, United sort of grew into it a little bit more. Greenwood constantly, I thought, was just a constant threat throughout the whole game. And again, the thing I want to go back to here, talking about Greenwood, is that for someone, obviously, he got his goal, and we'll touch on that in a second, because he obviously was a threat. But I was really impressed with Greenwood's just centre-forward play in general. I thought his hold-up play today was tremendous. Again, there's a reason that Bruno Fernandes got the hat-trick there and not a Mason Greenwood, because Mason Greenwood was very good today, actually dropping a bit deeper, maybe collecting the ball, holding it up a little bit, spraying it out to a Pogba, who would then do the final pass into a Bruno, into a Dan James, or into a whoever. I thought that was excellent. And again, several times you found himself coming far, far deeper, actually starting off attacks. Traditionally, I'll be honest with you, for my centre forward, I don't really like that. But it proved to me today that, again, Greenwood's this talent, I think, that us as Manchester United fans, I don't even think we haven't seen Mason Greenwood at his peak yet, which is scary, because he's already very, very good. Very, very good. And I think he's going to play more as a central striker this season. I do genuinely think, I really do genuinely think that when it comes to the end of the season, we know about Haaland. We know about the rumours of United going after Haaland, wanting a central striker. Cavani's going to be leaving Manchester United at the end of the season, even though that's not confirmed. It's going to happen. I still think there'll be a discussion of, okay, we can bring in a Haaland, and I think we still would go after that. But also, I think Mason Greenwood's going to raise a real competition for that striker spot this season. I think there's going to be a bit of a discussion of, if we bring in this great centre forward, what happens to Mason Greenwood? Because he's getting goals, he's playing games. So I think that's very interesting. So we'll go into the second half, because that's when everything just exploded. So ended first half 1-0. Again, for United, I would say dominated the game, had chances. No, not many clear-cut ones. Obviously got their goal. The Pogba one was just scandalous miss. Couldn't believe that. And then obviously at the beginning of the second half, 49 minutes, Luke Ayling scores a goal for Leeds and 1-1. And it kind of felt a little bit, here we go again, to be honest with you, didn't it? It felt a little bit, here we go again. I felt that we did certainly start the second half slow. It happens. United are bad for it, certainly. For a side that in the first half has this traditional 15-minute press, the 15-minute press where they're constantly, Manchester United, it's almost laughable, isn't it, sometimes, where Manchester United, first half, they'll be so in your face, and so, like, for 15 minutes, so in your face, and then they get so tired and drop off. The second half was a really slow start. And I know I saw some people that criticized the Leeds equalizer. And to be honest, any goal you look at, you can find parts of it where you can criticize, or you can find bits where you can provide some analysis, and you can say to yourself, he should do better. He should close him down. You could say maybe Luke Shaw or Harry Maguire should get out quicker to Luke Ayling for that goal. But to be honest, and I'm not just saying this because we won the game 5-1 and it doesn't matter, but it's just an unbelievable goal. I mean, again, you could say, well, Luke Shaw needs to get out faster. Harry Maguire needs to get out faster. In reality, do you really expect Luke Ayling, a right back, to rocket that into nearly the top corner from 25 yards out? You don't. That's why you don't close him down. Do you think he's not going to have a shot? Because you want him to have a shot realistically. Why wouldn't you want Luke Ayling to have a shot from there? Because 9 times out of 10, it's not going in. So you can't, you could find things to go on about the defending for that. But, to be honest, I thought it was just an unbelievable goal. Stephanie Jenks says, I thought Ayling's finish was amazing. Yeah, I agree. I thought it was tremendous. I thought it was a really good goal. And it's one of those goals that when you win the game 5-1, you can kind of give him a little bit of credit because it was a great goal. It was unbelievable. Greyboat says, relax, guys. It's only Leeds. Let's not get carried away. I don't think we'll get carried away. I think it's a performance to be very happy by. I think it's a performance that really sends a statement. How many people, Manchester United fans or not, how many people on social media, how many City fans, well, there aren't any, Liverpool fans, certainly not Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans, our rivals this season, how many of them thought Manchester United were going to win that opening game 5-1 against Leeds? Not many. Not many Man United fans thought that as well. That went today better than any United fan could have imagined it, and that wasn't anywhere near our strongest side either. Sancho came on, Martial came on, Cavani, I don't know what's going on with Cavani. Rashford's out injured. Varane's officially signed now, but he didn't play, obviously. So we're talking major players. Once those players come back in, we're talking a really, really strong Manchester United side. Arguably, that's pretty much, it was, because there was no new signings in there until Sancho came on. That's the side that finished last season. And Cavani wasn't even playing. So that's the side last season that's winning the game 5-1, opening game of the season, against a rival, against a good side. Leeds are a top 10 side. So that went better today than anyone could ask. I know it's Leeds. I know it's the opening game of the season. I know it doesn't matter for anything if we lose our next game 3-0. But let's be honest, nobody would have predicted that. Nobody would have predicted that. VK says, 100% Owen, nobody would have predicted 5-1. And considering last season, we had such a slow start, and we've had it in recent seasons as well, where we've started off really slow, whether it's not losses, but draws. I think back to, was it Louis van Gaal drew against Swansea? We've drawn games before. That's a statement. That's momentum. And sometimes when it comes to Premier League seasons, the last, 3 or 4 Premier League seasons, the team that's won the title, and I'm not saying we're going to win the title. I know we won the opening game of the season. Don't get me wrong. I still would say probably City are favourites. Even Chelsea are going to be closer this season. But the last few seasons, the title has been won by teams that can go on a run. You can go on a run of winning, 9, 8, 10 games in a row. That's what's happened the last few seasons. And by that point, you're already out of sight. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but I'm saying it's a great way to get some momentum to start things off with, again, a lineup that was nowhere near our strongest lineup. That's the really encouraging thing to me, a really encouraging thing for me. So 2-1, Mason Greenwood. And you know what was great about this is that I really loved the reaction from the side today. Historically, and over the last few years, certainly with Manchester United, we've seen a kind of pattern with Manchester United where if we did go 1-up early on, we don't take our chances. They get back into the game 1-1, suddenly very shaky. Suddenly every corner, every set piece. They'll get chances. They'll hit the bar. They'll hit the post. Maybe even they'll go 2-1 up, and you're thinking, why didn't we take advantage of the dominance that we had early on? So what I really enjoyed today is that Ayling scores, and frankly, it just pissed Man United off because they woke up like that. They woke up. Mason Greenwood, and this is the kind of player he is it's another great assist by Paul Pogba. It's a pass by Pogba out to the left-hand side. Make no mistake, there's still a lot for Mason Greenwood to do there. Yes, he's sort of one-on-one-ish with the defender, but he's still coming in at the angle. At that kind of position, if you're Greenwood, you only got to hit one spot, and that's the far post. And as a goalkeeper, you know he's going to have to go for the far post, so that's where I'm going to put my dive. If I dive past the far post, I'm saving it. It's an unbelievable finish. It really is an unbelievable finish, and it's just more evidence that for me, there shouldn't be a situation this season when Mason Greenwood's playing out wide. I don't want to see Mason Greenwood out to be on the right-hand side or anything like that. I understand last season when you've had Cavani, when you've had Martial, and you've had other players there, it's more difficult. And I know Mason Greenwood is still young, and there is a concern of overplaying youngsters, which I don't know if I truly buy into. You can look at examples like Michael Owen and Wayne Rooney, for example, of overplaying players at a young age. But he is, such a talent. It's a world-class finish, and he looks like he belongs. There isn't, sometimes, again, we have to remind yourself of Mason Greenwood's age, that he is still a teenager, right? Isn't he? And he's scoring goals with ease. He led the line at Old Trafford in a derby game on the opening game of the season in front of 78,000 people. That's a special player. That's an absolute special player that can do that. David Lee says, Greenwood, great goal. I totally agree. I thought it was a real top class. That's a world-class striker's finish for me. I totally agree. Serum says they're jealous. We've hit the jackpot with Bruno. I will not take any Bruno slander. I'm telling you, the people that will say Bruno Fernandes stat padder or Bruno Fernandes or anything like that, it's just this is what I always say about world-class players. Whether it is Bruno Fernandes, whether it's Paul Pogba, I think even with someone like a Mason Greenwood, certainly with Jadon Sancho, Rafa Varane, certainly we've got world-class players on our side now. Make no mistake about it. The true example of a world-class player is that when you're looking at these top sides in the Premier League, whether it's City, whether it's Chelsea, whether it's whoever, Liverpool, they would all have those world-class players in those sides. If you said tomorrow, do you want to play like Bruno Fernandes to Man City? Absolutely. They'd rip your arm off. If you said it to Chelsea, do you want Bruno Fernandes? Absolutely. Same with Man City, same with Liverpool, same with whoever. And it's the same with a Paul Pogba. If you said to Paul Pogba to Liverpool, I know people go, he wouldn't fit in the system. They'd find a way because he's a world-class player. There's no doubt about that. So I think a lot of clubs are jealous of having a Bruno Fernandes. To have an attacking midfielder that's not a winger, nowadays wingers are essentially strikers. They're expected to be getting 25, 30 goals. To have an attacking midfielder, a number 10, to be scoring that kind of goals, that kind of numbers of goals, to be up there with Harry Kane and Mo Salah, that's a special kind of player, because nowadays I think when we think of a number 10, we just think of assists, we think of passes. Bruno Fernandes gets goals and assists. That's gold dust. That's absolute gold dust to sides that won a challenge in the Premier League or for any title whatsoever. So right after Greenwood scores, Bruno gets his second, 3-1, and it did kind of feel like it was a special moment. It was a bit of a throwback to those kind of games where maybe, I always hate to do this when you compare them to, a Sir Alex Ferguson day, but it did kind of feel like a bit of a throwback to that, right? Of just Old Trafford was bouncing. This was for this goal. It really was. I sort of noticed that the fans were up and about. The fans were cheering. It was such a great atmosphere, and it's kind of like you really felt the importance of having the fans today. Obviously, last season our away record was better than our home record. And maybe that's because there are games like this where it goes to 1-1, you get a goal back, and the crowd are so up that they'll just carry you on. And the crowd, the pressure and the intensity of the crowd, not really the players, but the crowd will make a side crumble. And I think that's what happened with Leeds, because once we got that second and the crowd were up, Bruno sits the goalkeeper down, hits it. It's just over the line. Ayling tries to block it or clear it off the line, but it was just over. And it was a turnaround like that. That's a demoralizing loss. That's a demoralizing turnaround for Leeds, because you just get back into the game with a sheer bit of magic, to be honest with you. And you're thinking, right, we haven't really been playing our best, but we've just scored an unbelievable goal. We're back in a game against a top side. They haven't got their strongest 11 out. Maybe we can get something out of the game today. Then you get a player, like a Paul Pogba, does an unbelievable pass to Greenwood, who's still got a lot to do and scores. You think, I've only just got us back in the game, but still, look, we got back into it once. We can get back into it again. And then next attack, Bruno, 3-1. The crowd's up, the players are up, and then suddenly you just shrink. That's exactly what happened to Leeds today. It was a wake-up, and it's that kind of reaction that you want to see this season in any game. Not just the first game of the season. I want to see that reaction in the last game of the season as well. And the goal itself, the Bruno goal, it's just over the line. It's just over the line. I mean, that's why goal line technology is in place. I don't know about you, and this is a bit of a sidebar here, that when it comes to goal line technology now, look, I'm a huge advocate of it. I'm a huge fan of it. I think it was way, way overdue. There were so many times in the past. Obviously, you can talk about the Frank Lampard World Cup goal against Germany and all that kind of stuff. But there's plenty of other times. Roy Carroll, right? Remember that against Spurs when it's obviously over the line for them. And there were so many incidences where goal line technology was just, it was an example. It was so desperately needed. But ever since that game when it was, Sheffield United versus Aston Villa, a couple of seasons ago, and they got it wrong. There's still something in my head that I don't know if I just still don't trust it. After only one error. It only takes one error because, technology has to be perfect every single time, doesn't it? For a human to believe it's better than them. So it has to be perfect all the time. That one error. But, today was another example of why it's so beneficial because that changes the game. If it's a 2-1 game, if that's prior to goal line technology, and they don't give it. And I don't think the referee would have given it if he didn't have goal line technology today. He wasn't sure. The linesman wasn't sure either. And if that wasn't given today, Leeds, as the game goes on, get back into it. They could have easily equalised. 3-1, it's game over. Absolute game over. Now, it was funny because right after that goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka found himself in a forward position and he got a bit of a nosebleed and just kind of fell over. I thought Wan-Bissaka did play all right, though, today. I thought there was a period of time where he ended up out on the left. And he looked very uncomfortable, to say the least. But I appreciate it a couple of times. He did try and get forward a bit more today. Obviously, that's an element in the game that we want to see him improve. I think he played well. I saw a lot of discussion about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It was on Gary Neville's preview that he did, with like Roy Keane and Jamie Carragher, the one with Ty. It was that one. And there was a bit of a disagreement between Roy Keane and Gary Neville about how good Aaron Wan-Bissaka truly is. And I thought it was a bit harsh. I thought it was a bit harsh of, Gary Neville said he was okay and Roy Keane said we shouldn't be settling for okay and all that kind of stuff. And I agree. I do agree in that. But I think that Gary Neville raised a good point in that sometimes, Manchester United, we want to have a team full of world-class players. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a good right-back. Are there better right-back options out there in the world? Absolutely. I think there probably are. I think that's probably fair to say. But I think for what he does, there probably are elements he needs to improve. I want to see more improvement from him going forward. But he maybe didn't have his best season last season, but I think he's a good right back, and I think he's a good option. I would prefer we got in a Trippier to give him competition. That doesn't look like it's happening now. Dallow's staying. But you know what? I think I think he played well today. I do think he played well today. Let's have a look. 70 Jack says, Gary, okay, it's not good enough. Obviously referencing that. Calvin Yates says, great to see you, lad, on United TV. Appreciate that, Calvin. You can let me know as well. Remember your thoughts on today's game. Get in the live chat. Super chats are open as well. We'll get those on the screen. Be sure to smash a like on the like button as well. And be sure to subscribe too. As Flex always says when it comes to the like button, it's like entering a house and not taking your shoes off. I'm trying to think of another good analogy for that. If you can think of another good analogy for that as well, let me know in the live chat. I mean, it's like coming into the house and, I don't know, just going straight for the fridge and not asking. I tell you what it's like. It's like when your parents come back after shopping, you just start eating straight out of the bag and they haven't put it in the fridge yet. That's angry. That's rude. That's manners. Let it pull away first. Everything's got its place. Eagles fan says, I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka can link up well with Sancho. Yeah, I think I would probably agree with you there, actually. I think, that's the hope this season, isn't it? Is that there'll be a connection between Sancho and Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side. Of course, Sancho did come on at some later on in the game today. Didn't really get involved, didn't really touch the ball. The game was dead by that point. To be honest, I think he just came on for minutes. I wasn't expecting to see much out of him in terms of quality or in terms of chances. It's just, that's what it is. Deacon says, liked, king of the free seats. If you want to be king of the free seats, smash a like on the video too. Where was I? Yes, we're talking about the fourth goal. And the fourth goal was, of course, Bruno's hat-trick. And you got to give him credit. I know Lindelof takes a lot of stick. I know he takes a lot of criticism and a lot of slander. I like of it, justifiably so. I'll give you that. But I thought today he played pretty well. He didn't have a lot to do, to be honest with you. He's not going to be playing that much longer because Varane's going to take his place. But you have to hold your hands up, give him credit. It's an unbelievable pass. I mean, Pogba had some unbelievable assists today. He had 4 of them. And it's a shame because he had 4 assists and the best one wasn't by him. It was by Lindelof because that pass was incredible. Absolutely world class. It's not and I know I've seen a lot of people. Ironically, I did see something like a Man City pass. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Ruben Diaz or something like that. Did a pass. I think it was last season where he does a similar kind of pass. It's a long pass and it goes in and some City fan, I think it's just one of them, because there is just one of them. They're all at the Etihad this weekend. That they say, oh, he's the only Premier League defender in the league that can do this. And someone responded, like, Lindelof does do that quite often. Usually it's just the Lindelof long ball over the top. But this wasn't just a long ball. You got to give him credit. This was a legitimate. He saw the run. He saw the run of Bruno, and it's an unbelievable pass. He passed it round the player, used the player to bend it round him. It's a great pass, and it's a great finish by Bruno. The only question was about offside. It was tight, but it was a great finish and a great pass. For me, that's arguably probably. I really like the Greenwood goal this today because I just thought it was such a striker's goal, but a proper modern day striker. A lot to do, and it's still a great finish, but. I did appreciate the pass by Lindelof there. I thought it was world class, and it's it'll be interesting to see if he starts the next game. I don't know if he'll start the next game. I think he might start the next game. He might be out by Wolves. We'll talk about the matches afterwards. Finally, as well, you had Fred get a goal, which is crazy. I mean, I was checking outside to see if there was like a lunar eclipse because it's just that rare, honestly. I mean, what Fred scoring? You're having a good day. Fred scoring. I mean, let's be honest here. VK says Lindelof has that pass in him. Same for round 2. Eagles fan says Lindelof's pass was Pogba-esque. Just Kick says we're loaded with attacking options. I just hope Ollie knows how and when to use his players. Well, he's certainly got more options than he has last season, I think. So that's encouraging. Fred's goal, look, Pogba assist once again. At this point, you kind of just got the point that Leeds just given up. Because they've just looked so out of sorts at this point. It's a Pogba assist again. It's a simple one. Greenwood again. This is what I put down in my notes here. Greenwood, this is what people might not focus on, but Greenwood's involved. Pogba gets the assist, rightfully so. Tremendous today. But Greenwood, that's modern day centre forward play. That's getting involved, making a nuisance of yourself, drawing players in, giving the ball to Pogba, who obviously he can pick out a pass. Simple pass to Fred. Gets it on target, which is, I just guess, all we can ask him to do. The keeper should be saving it. The keeper absolutely should be saving it. I know on commentary they were like, it's a great finish by Fred. Oh, he's got a goal, and I'm happy to see Fred get a goal as well. He gets criticised a lot. He got criticised for being in the starting 11 today. A lot of people didn't like or want to see McTominay and Fred. They didn't want to see another season of McFred. It was like a bad rerun or like a bad sequel. Before the game started. But look, Fred scores and McTominay played well. I mean, if you ask Ollie about that and you say, why did you play McFred? He would go, well, McTominay played really well and Fred scored. What more can you ask? Realistically, I think he did it to protect Lindelof and Maguire. He did the same thing as last season. But let's be honest here, the keeper should save that. Any day of the week, it's in the middle of the goal. And the keeper, this infuriates me as someone that used to play in goal when it comes to goalkeepers. They essentially dive out of the way of the ball. Save it. It's your job. Sounding like Roy Keane. But it's true. It's true. But if Fred's scoring, that's when you start to think maybe something's really happening here. I did put this in my notes as well. Because I think it's worth pointing out. I think Dan James did fine today. But if today was Ollie saying to Dan James, look, Sancho's going to be on the bench. He's only trained with us like 5 days or something like that. Today's your day to really stand out because otherwise Sancho's going in. £75 million player. You know he's going to be playing in your position. You got to show me something today. And Dan James, look, he had a couple of shots, had a couple of chances. The end product isn't there. The end product isn't there for Dan James, unfortunately. Not that we haven't known that in the past. Look, he's pacey. In a game like today, where you need a bit of a strong press, you need a bit of energy, you need a bit of legs, Dan James, I don't mind him for that. And there are other games, cup competitions, where you need squad depth. But he just, for me, was evidence today of even winning the game 5-1. There were a couple of times where Dan James, you thought to yourself, actually, he could have had a couple. Let's be honest here. He could have had a couple today. If he actually had an end product, then we'd have probably had more goals than them. We won 5-1, which is crazy. So Sancho and Martial came on, didn't do that much, to be honest with you. But let's face it, the game was over by that point. So I'm not going to criticize Sancho and Martial for not affecting the game because the game was dead. It didn't need to be affected. Martial has been out for a long time of injury, so I think he's looking at just getting minutes. Same with Sancho. It was great to see them come on, though. So I don't know if they'll be starting next week, specifically Sancho. I would say Martial probably starts on the bench next week, to be honest with you. It must be pointed out as well that Leeds did have another chance to make it 5-2, and they should have scored. Rafinha misses a sitter. Ball comes in. There is nobody. I mean, I don't know who was meant to be right back at that point. I don't know if that was meant to be Wan-Bissaka because I think he was out on the left. But whoever was meant to be marking him, there was nobody there, and he should score. It's a shocking miss. And I think, if anything, it just summed up Leeds' performance today. Just below par, sloppy. The only bit of quality they had was their goal, and that's a world-class goal. Otherwise, they didn't. I was really disappointed by them. Not that I care, to be honest, because I'll take a 5-1 victory any day of the week. But overall, it was an excellent performance. As I mentioned, Sancho wasn't involved in that much. And I suppose now, when it comes to the future, the next 5 games we have, as starts of the season go, I mean, Man United can't really ask for much more than what we've got because we've avoided those big top 6 sides for the opening 5 games of the season, opening 6 games of the season, rather. The only point to that, and I know a lot of people will say, look, it's a great opening run of games. It is, but you've got to play them at some point. And a lot of the times when you don't have, your Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, whoever in your opening first set of games, that means at some point of the season, you will have them in a row. Now, I don't have all of the fixtures in front of me, but I would suspect that that's probably the reality. Eventually, we will have those in a big bunch, and that will be quite difficult for Manchester United. But hopefully by that point, and this kind of touches on what I was talking about earlier, hopefully by that point, we're at a point where we've generated so much momentum because we've been going on this big run of games where we've been scoring goals and playing attacking football that by the time we play a Liverpool or we play a Man City, we've got this momentum and they're worried about us. Sometimes a game is won before a ball has even been kicked. In the Sir Alex Ferguson days, we beat teams before they even came out on the pitch. When they're in the tunnel, they're all scared of Manchester United and Old Trafford looking around like that. It didn't even matter. We won the game before it even started. By getting victories and building up momentum and generating a bit of atmosphere, having the fans back at Old Trafford, that's how we're going to get there. So the next few games, next week we've got Southampton away, which I think is a great game actually to have. I know it's obviously away from home. I think they're winning at the moment. I can just see to the side of me here, so I'm looking off camera. I think they're winning 1-0 against Everton, which is surprising. Southampton was a bit of a dark horse to go down this season. You're losing Vestergaard, losing all these players, Danny Ings, but I'd still fancy United away at Southampton. So that's a great game to have. You got Wolves away, and they're a bit of an unknown. I think they're drawing 0-0 currently against Leicester. They're a bit of an unknown, obviously, without Nuno. And they had a poor season last season. Traditionally, going away to Wolves is a tough game, and I wouldn't disagree with you there. If we were playing Wolves 2 seasons ago, I'd be like, but I know our record sometimes isn't great away at Molineux as well, but I fancy United there. I do. After that, you've got Newcastle at home. I mean, I don't want to see dead cert. I mean, touch wood, I'm not wrong here, but Newcastle at home, again, everything's a bit of an unknown right now because we don't know what these teams are going to look like because we haven't, unless you've been watching pre-season, but that doesn't really count for that much. But Newcastle at home, you expect United to win that game, frankly, because Newcastle are always in turmoil. They're always a mess. So I expect United to win that one. West Ham away, difficult game. Absolutely difficult game. West Ham were good last season. Have they really brought any players in? I think the only big sort of talking point about West Ham at the moment has been the ownership, hasn't it? About Rio Ferdinand and Anton Ferdinand trying to buy the club through a consortium. So I don't know about that one. That'll be a tough game. But look, we got a result there last season, even after we went 1-0 down. So, and that was with a select amount of fans, of course, in the London Stadium there in Stratford. So I mean, that'll be a tough one. Don't get me wrong, that's a tough game. But Aston Villa after that as well at home. And someone's just saying in the chat that Watford are 1-0 up against Aston Villa. It's David Lee. Get you on screen there. Cheers for that, David. So look, I mean, it's a great opening run of games. And arguably, when you lined up this opening 6 games this season, when you said, look, Leeds United, it's a home game, that would be that's a horrible game to start off the season with. Especially with a derby, you know, it's a rivalry. There was an atmosphere there, and not our strongest side. And then after that, once you've got Southampton away, Wolves away, Newcastle at home, West Ham away, Villa away, I'm not saying 6 straight wins because football doesn't work like that. But what I am saying is that if Manchester United aren't up at the top of the table by the end of those 6 games as we head into the international break there, I think as a Manchester United fan, I'd be quite frustrated with that. I'd say, look, the fixtures are good. The fixtures are very, very good for us. So I don't know. I'm feeling confident. And don't get me wrong, I understand what you guys are saying, that, look, it is the opening game of the season. We shouldn't get too carried away. We shouldn't we should be thinking to ourselves, oh, we've beat Leeds, we're going to win the league, because football doesn't work like that. We know football doesn't work like that. It's just that's football at the end of the day. But let's be honest here. That's a really encouraging result today. And nobody thought we were going to win by 5-1. Nobody thought we were going to be as dominant as we were today. If you'd have said 5-1, Paul Pogba 4 assists, Bruno Fernandes hat-trick. If you've got, by the way, if you've got Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba in your fantasy team, I think I've got Bruno in mine. I don't have Pogba in mine. But if you had Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba in your fantasy team, you are laughing. You're absolutely laughing in your fantasy team right now. I think I've got Bruno and I've got Mason Greenwood, I think, in my fantasy team. But I don't have Paul Pogba. But Bruno Fernandes, if you triple captained, KG said it on the watch along earlier, if you triple captain Bruno Fernandes, it's reckless, it's bold. I appreciate the boldness. It might come back to bite you later on in the season. But look, you can't ask more than that, to be honest with you. If you're triple captain, you triple captain any game, and they score a hat-trick as technically a midfielder, you're laughing. You're absolutely laughing. But look, guys, I've been talking for nearly an hour here, so be sure to smash a like on the video, as Flex always says, to come in and take your shoes off. What else did you guys say? I saw a couple of these. Sort of. We're looking for new analogies on that. I'm still looking for a new analogy on that one. Come in, start eating out of the bag after shopping. That doesn't really work. It doesn't really roll off the tongue that well, does it? But okay, we'll stick with Flex one. It's a good one. So be sure to smash a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right-hand corner. As KG spoke about earlier, it's a small channel. It's a baby, but it's growing quickly. What an exciting day for Manchester United. What a great result. I mean, honestly, truly, what an absolutely fantastic result for Manchester United today. But I'll speak for you again very, very soon. Have a great weekend. It started off so well, and I'll speak for you again very, very soon.